afternoon. My name is Liz Pierre, Chair of the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana System, and I would like to welcome you to the first meeting of this search committee, which will assist the Board of Supervisors in finding the next president for Southeastern Louisiana University. Before we begin today's proceedings, I would like to mention that if any member of the public wishes to comment, he or she must complete a public comment card and turn it in to the UL system staff member seated at the front. Comment cards are located on the table right outside the room. Also, as a courtesy, please turn off your cell phones or other electronic devices. At this time, let's do a roll call. Dr. Calais, would you please?
Yes. Dr. Jim Henderson.
Here.
Miss Elizabeth Pierre.
Here.
Dr. Jimmy Clark.
Here.
Mr. Toby Cortez. Miss Lola Donahoe. Mr. Ethan Estes.
Here.
Dr. Aaron Horzelski.
Here.
Mr. Louis Nick Joseph.
Present.
Miss Stephanie Kropog. Miss Joe Leatherman. Mr. Wallace Lewis. Mr. Al Perkins.
Here.
Miss Bailey Piku. Mr. Brad Stevens.
Here.
Miss Julie Stokes. Miss Carla Tate. Mr. Alan Waddell. Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you, Dr. Calais. As we all know, Dr. Crane is retiring after serving as the 14th president of Southeastern Louisiana University. As the chair of the Board of Supervisors for the University of Louisiana System, one of my responsibilities is to appoint a search committee to help find his successor. Our board rules define a framework for appointing members of the search committee, and using that, 9 voting and 8 non-voting members have been appointed to the search committee. The 9 voting members are composed of 8 board members, including our student board member, and an individual selected to represent the Southeastern faculty, in this case, Dr. Aaron Horzelski. In addition to these voting members, system policy allows for the appointment of non-voting advisory members to participate in the search process. Advisory members provide important perspectives and partake in all discussions and activities related to the search process. However, they do not vote. The 7 advisory members are Southeastern Foundation Board President Toby Cortez, Community Representative from the Tangible Hoa Parish Council representing District 3, Louis Nick Joseph, Southeastern Alumni Association President Stephanie Stafford Kropog, Southeastern Foundation Board Member Wallace Lewis, Southeastern Student Government Association President Bailey Piku, Community Representative Carla Tate, who serves as the Executive Director of the Tangible Hoa Parish Convention and Visitors Bureau, Southeastern Athletic Foundation Chairman Alan Waddell. Our 8th member is Dr. James Henderson, President and CEO of the University of Louisiana System, who also serves as the Search Committee Chair in accordance with our board rules. At this time, I would like each of the committee members to introduce themselves, and I will start with Ms. Bailey Piku on my far left.
Hello everybody, my name is Bailey Piku. I am the current Student Government Association President here at Southeastern, where I am a senior majoring in General Studies, and I am also a first semester graduate student getting my master's in Strategic Communications, and it is an honor to represent my students on this committee.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Stafford Kropog. I'm the current Southeastern Alumni President, and prior to being president, I served as secretary for 2 terms, so for a total of 4 years. And prior to that, I was also a board member of the Southeastern Alumni Association. It's with great pride that I serve on this committee. I feel very fortunate and very blessed to have a voice in what our next president looks like. And so thank you all for being here today, and I appreciate service on this committee.
I'm Alan Waddell, a 2-time graduate here for Southeastern, undergrad and graduate degree here at Southeastern. I'm the current president of the Lions Athletic Association. Work closely with athletics, also a member of the community, business owner. I'm glad to be a part of this process, and I love Southeastern and look forward to trying to take it to the right direction and in a direction that we're all proud of.
I'm Louis Nick Joseph.
received my master's degree from SLU and my 30 hours above the master's. I hold an honorary doctorate in humane letters from Southern University of Baton Rouge. I retired as superintendent of schools for Daniel Parish in 2007. I'm a retired military officer, chief warrant officer 5, personnel officer, Vietnam veteran, serve on the parish council representing District 3, and I'm a strong advocate for our veterans, and my goal is to work as hard as I can to help veterans prevent suicide. Thank you.
We all doing it? Hi, I'm Julie Stokes. I serve on the Board of Supervisors for the UL system. I'm a graduate of UNO. I am a former member of the legislature, but don't hold that against me. I am a CPA. I graduated from UNO. I think I already said that, and have a lot of jobs. One of which is being CFO of Stokes and Associates. Another is leading a couple of nonprofits that do work statewide, and I'm really happy to have the opportunity to help in any way to make our state better, and that includes making all of our important universities better.
Good afternoon. My name is Al Perkins. I serve on the board for the University of Louisiana system. I'm an attorney by trade. I graduated from Xavier University undergrad, Southern University Law School. I look forward to engaging with each of you all today in order to determine the pathway to the next president of this great university. It's exciting times,
Good afternoon.
and this is one of
My name is
the
Al
most
Perkins.
important
I serve
things that
on
we
the
do.
board,
So exciting to share the afternoon with you. Thank you.
I'm an attorney by trade.
Good afternoon. My name is Jimmy Clark. I serve and function as the vice chair for the Board of Supervisors. I share Al's excitement in being here today with y'all. It certainly is an important step for this institution and also for our system. We take this very, very seriously and really, really appreciate the fact that you're here today. Listening to you and the community is an extraordinarily important part of this process, and I certainly personally appreciate the fact that you're giving your time to help inform us. I have the distinct pleasure of having served or am serving as the senior advisor for a higher education policy firm that is located out of Austin, Texas. I live in Lafayette, Louisiana, and have spent a better part of 3 decades in post-secondary education here in Louisiana.
Well, good afternoon. I'm Jim Henderson, and I'm the president of the University of Louisiana System. Delighted to be here on one of my 9 favorite campuses in Louisiana. It is in the top 10, obviously. I'm a graduate of Northwestern State, which is just the diametric opposite of Southeastern, but there's a lot of similarities. I'm glad to see so many friends in the audience that I know well, some mostly through Twitter, and I'm not looking at Dane on purpose. He needs to come out of his shell and speak up on some matters, Dane, when you get a chance. But I really look forward to working with all of you in this process. There is no more important work that this board performs than the selection of the presidents that operate these universities.
But there's a
We
lot
take
of
that very
similarities.
seriously. I've been in this role
glad to
just
see so
now
many
6
friends
years and a
in the
month.
audience that I know
This
well.
is search
Some,
number 6.
mostly
I
through
don't know what
Twitter,
that
and
says
not looking at Dane on purpose.
about me or our
He needs
frequency,
to come out of his shell and
but I'm
speak
delighted
up
to go
on
through
some
this
matters,
journey with
Dane,
you.
when you get a chance. But I really look
Just
forward
one
to
word
working
of
with all of
advice
you in this
to all of
process.
you.
There is no
Trust
more
the
important
process
work that this board
and engage in the
performs
process. I
than the
think you're going
selection
to
of
find
the
that it's a
presidents
very
that operate
open,
these universities.
transparent
Take that very
process that is
seriously.
going to choose the right president for this university.
This is search number 6.
Again, I look forward to working with all of you. Do not hesitate to reach out. There is no question that is inappropriate. There's no question likely that we haven't heard, but I'm always encouraged when there is a question we haven't heard, because that's what lifelong learning is about. So again, continue to engage with us and look forward to learning with you.
Again, my name is Liz Pierre. I currently serve as chairman of the UL System Board of Supervisors. Just started my second 6-year term as a board member. I live in Monroe, Louisiana, so I represent the 5th Congressional District on this board. As my other fellow board members have said, I totally agree. This is one of the most important things that we do, and we do take it very seriously, and we do listen for your opinion. So if you know, during some of the campus visits, when the candidates are brought here, You'll have the opportunity to visit those and ask questions and those kind of things. So we want you to participate as much as you possibly can so you feel a part of the process as well. Again, look forward to working with the board members, the search committee members here in finding our next president.
I'm Brad Stevens. I currently serve as a parliamentarian for the Board of Supervisors. I'm from Amite. I live here in Hammond, so I'm probably the most accessible person for you all to reach. And I have a feeling that it might be pretty busy going forward the next couple of months. Southeastern graduate and LSU law graduate, so I'm an attorney by trade. And this is my third year on the Board of Supervisors, and I can tell you as a Southeastern graduate, there is nothing more important to me that we get this right. I've been told more than once to trust the process. I think that probably is good advice for all of us to adhere to. So looking forward to doing this. Glad that you're here to share this with us.
Good afternoon. My name is Lola Donahoe, and I'm a supervisor on the ULS board as well. And I'm from Natchitoches, Louisiana, and graduated from Northwestern. But I can tell you, Southeastern has always been one of my very favorite universities. Y'all have a great university. I think you're well positioned to almost do a rocket launch as far as moving forward. You're positioned so well, and Dr. Crane has done an excellent job here. So I think I really look forward to being on this thing, even though it is a 4-hour drive here. But anyway, and don't wear Brad out. Call all of us. Our numbers are available, and I personally would like to hear from you. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jo Leatherman. I am heading into my second year serving on the UL Systems Board of Supervisors. Delighted to be here, delighted to take part in the search committee. I did graduate from ULM. I'm a registered nurse by trade, and I am 1 year shy of obtaining my Doctor of Nursing Practice at Georgetown University in Women's Health and Nurse Midwifery. And so some of my passions include continuing education for nurses, as well as kind of tackling the Black maternal health crisis. And so I'm happy to be here and listen to all of you guys today.
Good afternoon. Most of you already know who I am. I am Dr. Erin Horzelski, 17 years here at Southeastern, biology professor and faculty senate president for the 5 years. One thing that people may not know is that I actually am a Seattle native, so I did not graduate undergrad in the state of Louisiana. I graduated from Western Washington University next to the Canadian border. But I have been in Louisiana for about 25 years, just under. I went straight PhD at LSU, postdoc at Tulane, and was hired at Southeastern in 2006. And just like everybody else on the panel, I do also appreciate any comments and anybody reaching out. And I do appreciate the opportunity to have a voice for our next campus leader. Thank you.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ethan Estes. I'm the student board member on the University of Louisiana system. I'm also the student body president at the University of Louisiana Monroe, so good to see a fellow Warhawk here on the panel. I look forward to being involved in this process. The student voice is of paramount to this board, and so I'm going to be working with Bailey a lot down there on my left to make sure the students are represented to the best of our ability. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Carla Tate. I'm the Executive Director of Tangipahoa Tourism. I'm from here in Tangipahoa Parish. I attended Southeastern years ago, and I am very involved with all things of Southeastern. I have had the privilege to work with Dr. Crane and us get through so many years and so many positive things. I look forward to being on this committee and finding the next president to take us to the next level. I feel like all of us, and just the show of the people in this room, how valuable and how important Southeastern is to not only Tangipahoa Parish, but our entire region in this state. And so I am honored to be a part of finding the right person to lead us to the next level.
Good afternoon. My name is Wallace Lewis. I'm a proud 1976 graduate of Southeastern Louisiana University. Hey, line up. I also had the privilege of serving on the alumni board and now serve on the foundation board here at Southeastern Louisiana University. I share the same comments as my peers did, that It's such an honor and a privilege for Dr. Pierre and Dr. Henderson to invite me to be a part of this process to help shape and fashion and cast a vision for the minds that will not only lead Louisiana but the world here at the greatest university on the planet. So I look forward to engaging you guys. I'm not biased at all, right?
That's the exact attitude we want. Okay, I'm sorry. We did have Mr. Cortez. Please introduce yourself.
Excuse me for being late. Toby Cortez, I'm the current. There we go. I'm not used to this. Toby Cortez, I'm the current chairman for the foundation here at Southeastern. I also work for an investment bank called Stiefel, and we finance a lot of the higher education projects. And really looking forward to the opportunity. I think Southeastern has so much potential right now, so many opportunities, and it's amazing. And the foundation has already started work on trying to grow the university. And this is a very, very exciting time, and I'm honored to be a part of it, of the process.
Thank you, Mr. Cortez, and thank you to all the committee members. This work is very important, and I certainly appreciate your commitment to finding the best person possible to serve as Southeastern's president. At this time, I would like to turn the meeting over to our committee chair, Dr. James Henderson. Dr. Henderson?
Thank you, Ms. Pierre. Thank you, Ms. Pierre. And welcome to the search committee. Members, thank you for agreeing to engage in this work. It is going to be an imposition on your time, but I think you'll find at the end of the day it's time well spent. And also thank you for those of you that have joined us in the audience. I know that there is never a perfect time, especially for faculty and staff at a university for an event like this, and that you managed that you were able to prioritize this and be here. It speaks volumes about your interest in this process, and it's deeply appreciated. Today is the most process-laden part of our search process. This is a time when we're going to map out the framework for our search process. It includes approving a charge, a tentative timeline, and that's a key. We'll talk a little bit more about timelines in just a minute, and a draft advertisement. I want to refer the search committee members to their binders. This will be your best friend as we go through this process. It includes materials that will be important to this afternoon's discussion, of course, and you'll need to bring these to subsequent meetings. The first order of business is to review the charge to the committee. And if you open your binders to tab 2, you'll see that it outlines that charge. The charge is rooted in our board rules and policy and procedure manual. That's also found in tab 3. Now, included in our charge is this committee will recommend at least 2 names to the board of supervisors. That's consistent with our past practice. It could be more than 2 names. The board itself will select the next president. We'll define today a procedure and a timeline. The timeline is evolving. We'll visit the campus to obtain public input, which we're doing today, but this is only one venue and one medium for that input. There will be multiple media for that. We will listen to faculty, students, staff, alumni, and community members again in various settings, but we're interested to learn mostly what qualifications you view as essential for the next president if he or she is going to succeed in the role of being not a university president, but president of Southeastern Louisiana University. We hope to hear perspectives on the top priorities for the new president to address. This committee will screen applicants. We will check references. We will interview qualified candidates. We'll conduct semifinalist interviews on this campus where there'll be a multiple meetings with faculty, staff, students, and community members. The search committee will conduct an open interview at that time. We'll also discuss in executive session those pieces of information related to character and fitness that are best done in that setting. And that concludes our charge. Are there any questions about the charge to this committee? If not, then we entertain a motion and a second to approve the charge.
So moved.
Moved by Supervisor Perkins, second by Supervisor Stokes. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Thank you. So we've got our charge. Now the most interesting part is the timeline. If you refer to your binders again in tab 4, you'll find information related to the search process. The first part of the process is selecting committee. As you can see, that has already done. We're well on our way. We'll solicit feedback from the campus community to help broaden our understanding of the issues specific to Southeastern and important characteristics of a successful president. We will do that momentarily. We'll develop an ad, and we'll publish that ad. There's already been some postings of a general notice that the position is open. There'll be some screening and selecting of applicants to interview, interviewing applicants on campus, and recommending at least 2 names to the board. The process is very straightforward, and of course, we want to be as transparent as possible throughout. Are there any questions or concerns regarding our process at this point? Yeah, sure. Dr. Clark.
I apologize, board members. I know
We would be
no one's asked
disappointed.
questions. I know disappointed, but it actually refers back as I was rereading the charge. I just noticed that on the second bullet it says engage the services of a search consultant. I just wanted to be sure I understood what that was or wasn't in terms of the charge.
Yeah, that is the option of the committee to utilize a search consultant. For the previous 5 searches we have done for President's UL system, we have not used a search consultant. The applicants we have gotten have come from all over the country. The semifinalists we have brought to campus have been a diverse mix that represent multiple disciplines, multiple demographic characteristics. They come from areas both internal to the UL system, to the state of Louisiana, and without. And so we have, for the last 5 searches, we have opted not to engage a search consultant. But that's certainly open for discussion if you would like it to be.
I appreciate the clarification.
Sure. Yes.
That's fine.
So part of the search is the timeline, and the timeline is available in tab 5. And by the way, everything that's in these binders will be available online if it's not already online. So if those of you that don't have binders, you'll have a nice handy place to search that out. In the timeline, our next phase is to wait on applicants during the advertising promotional phase. I would imagine, based on experience, that we will have at least 50 to 60 expressions of interest. We will probably have a dozen to 20 applicants that fully meet clearly meet the qualifications. And of that group, we will bring those to this committee to select semifinalists to come forward. We'll return to campus to interview semifinalists in the month of April. The current timeline shows our board making a selection at a special board meeting on May 1st in Baton Rouge. I want all of the stakeholders to understand one thing about the timeline. The timeline is flexible. It is purposefully aggressive, and that is because it captures some movement that is natural, it's organic in these types of processes, but it is a shorter timeline than you see in a lot of presidential searches around the country. It's not the shortest, but it's the same timeline we've done in the previous 5 searches. The one non-negotiable in this process is finding the right candidate. You don't sacrifice that priority in order to meet the needs of a timeline. And if we find ourselves in a situation where we need to extend a timeline, adjust a timeline, we will adjust the timeline. I want to be very clear on that. But it is an aggressive timeline that keeps the committee on task, it keeps the process on task, and it ensures that we get candidates to campus while students and faculty are still here before you go home for the summer. That's one of the reasons why. And again, rational people can agree or disagree on that, but that's our timeline at this point. So at this point, we'll need a motion and a second to accept the process and the timeline for the Southeastern search. Do we have a motion? Moved by Mr. Cortez. Second by Mr. Stevens. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Are there any opposed? Okay, thank you very much. The next item is a short discussion about the advertisement that will appear on the websites of Inside Higher Ed, Diverse Issues in Higher Education, Women in Higher Education, the Journal of Blacks in Higher Education, and the Chronicle of Higher Education. A draft ad is included in the binders under tab 6. You'll notice that we've developed the first draft of an ad specifically for this search that provides information about the job, the university, and the community. It indicates how one can apply. They apply directly to the board chair, which is Ms. Elizabeth Pierre. We'll begin publishing the ad tomorrow. The preferred date to receive completed applications for review and to select candidates for interviews is Friday, March 24th. Are there any questions or comments about the advertisement? Give you just a moment to review that.
Dr. Anderson, you said the date was what?
The preferred date is March 24th.
Okay, I'm just noticing in this draft it says the 21st.
Yeah. That's to keep you guessing. It is Friday, March 24th. I'm going to defer. And by the way, folks, those of you that don't know Dr. Erica Calais, Dr. Erica Calais is our Vice President of Student Services, Safety, and Resilience, and all other things that come up that are necessary. This is also her 6th or 16th chair? No, 16th year with us, but it is, she's, and Dr. Khan have helped lead multiple searches from our staff and our system office. They do a remarkable job. You'll see a lot of communications that come from Erica throughout this process. But Erica, just to confirm, that date is going to be Friday, April 24th. Is that correct? March 24th. Thank you. Thank you for that, Dr. Clark. So is there a motion to approve the advertisement? Moved by Ms. Donahoe. Second by Stevens. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. Now, in order to fulfill our search responsibilities, it's important that we have a good sense and understanding of this university and its constituents. When we had our first UL System conference 6 years ago, we had it at Southeastern. And there was a reason we had it at Southeastern, and that was to set a bar for the 8 other universities in our system to know they had to exceed when we had the system conference on that campus. That was intentional. We know when we come to Southeastern, we're in an institution that's operational management is beyond acceptable. It is the model of operational excellence in our system. I have no qualms in saying that. But there are significant opportunities for this university. Opportunities around growth, opportunities around scholarship, opportunities around research. And that's really what we want to get a good sense and understanding from this university and its constituents. At this time, I'd like to ask Dr. Janine Kahn, who's the Provost and Vice President for the University of Louisiana System, to provide the committee with some background information about Southeastern. Dr. Kahn?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Henderson, and good afternoon to members of the search committee and those in the audience. We are very thrilled that all of you all are here today to embark on the journey to find the 15th president of Southeastern Louisiana University. As Dr. Henderson mentioned, many of you in this room are very familiar with the institution, either working here, earning your degrees here, have some type of affiliation. But as Dr. Henderson mentioned, we thought it best to go over a few data points and characteristics of the institution that we believe and hope are helpful to you all as you move through the search process. So let's begin. For those of you that don't know, Southeastern was founded in 1925 by Linus A. Sims as Hammond Junior College. Sims succeeded in getting the campus to North Hammond in 1928 when it became Southeastern Louisiana University. The slide there shows that as of today, the institution has graduated 91,000 undergraduate and graduate students. Currently, the university offers 67 undergraduate and graduate programs, and then also has and employs 630 faculty members and 797 staff. Enrollment as of fall 2022 was 13,504, and then the annual tuition for the institution runs about $8,300 with a little bump up for those that are attending the institution from another state outside of Louisiana. And the classification of Southeastern is its master's, college, and university larger programs. When you look at the budget, and we're just doing a snapshot of that, you will see that the majority of Southeastern budget comes from self-generated funds, which means your tuition and your fees paid by your students and other types of funding. And then the state kicks in about 25% to ensure that there's an operating budget for the institution. This slide, and for those of you board members that if you can't see the smaller screen, there's one behind you that's a little bigger if you're visually impacted like I am. But the bar graph that you see illustrates enrollment of the course of the last 5 years. And you'll see a little ebb and flow, which is not uncharacteristic and not specific to Southeastern, but they've continued to have a nice regular stream of undergraduate and graduate students at the institution. And when we talk about enrollment, let's take a peek at what those students look like. You'll see that the majority of the students are at the undergraduate level and that they attend the institution full-time. The majority of our students are female here, which I guess makes it a little more difficult for men to find. Well, I guess they have a nice pool for dating purposes. And then you'll see that the majority of our folks are from Louisiana. And then you'll see the demographics when it comes to ethnicity, where the majority of our students here at Southeastern are white, with the second population being African American. As you might know, and probably as you do, Southeastern is considered a regional institution, so she is here to serve the parishes within the area that she serves. And so what you see there is where Southeastern draws the most of their students from the surrounding parishes, which probably wouldn't be surprising for those of you that are familiar with the area. Next, we'll go over the student snapshot of the academic integrity of our current student population. Our students coming into Southeastern have an average ACT of 23. About 4,300 students are TOPS recipients. They're full-time freshmen. They retain almost 71% from first year to second year, and they have a graduation rate of about 44%. Of the 67 degree programs that are offered, last year Southeastern completed were able to award 2,186 degrees and certificates. As I mentioned, there is a very robust offering here at the institution at the undergraduate and graduate level. Of those 63 programs that are currently offered, listed are the very popular ones. Nursing program here is extremely robust at Southeastern. It normally graduates 156 students. The second is at the undergraduate level is biology, followed by business administration and psychology. And the top 4 graduate programs, again, in nursing. This is really cranking out wonderful qualified nurses here at Southeastern. The second being counseling, MBA, and the EDD in educational leadership. And that provides you all with a snapshot of just who those students are, what the academic offerings of the institution, and I hope that you find this helpful. And Dr. Henderson, that concludes my portion of the presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. And just for the committee members to also be aware, there are some significant investments in facilities at Southeastern. Just yesterday, we were visiting with the facility planning and control on D. Vickers Hall, which will be opening bids from contractors within the next 2 weeks to restore its main academic building to life, but also to make some significant enhancements in that building. We were secured some capital outlay dollars to greatly enhance and expand the nursing facility, which, for those of you who don't know, the nursing campus for the second 2 years of the program, the students attend in Baton Rouge, just across the street from Our Lady of the Lake Hospital. That facility will be expanded and enhanced significantly, and we will be building a brand new nursing facility here in Hammond, where we will now have a full cohort of students being able to start and end in Baton Rouge, and one that's able to start and end in Hammond. Those are tremendous advances for this institution, and we look forward to bringing those to fruition. Now we'll move into the public forum portion of the meeting. Our board rules require that we hold a public forum as part of our search process, and this part of the meeting we will allow for public input. We're here today to listen to faculty, to students, to staff, alumni, and other community members. Your input is vital to help us select the best possible person for the presidency of Southeastern. In particular, we want to learn what qualifications and what traits are essential in your eyes, in the next president if he or she is to succeed in this role. The committee is also excited to hear about perspectives on the top priorities for the new president to address, and I would imagine there is a litany of those priorities, and there may be even some differences in the value of those priorities amongst the members of this audience. This is not intended to be a dialogue with the committee, nor is it intended to be a session to promote a particular candidate for the position. We're here to listen and learn. Our purpose is to learn about qualifications, characteristics for the candidate, as well as issues, priorities, and challenges for the next president to address. Your comments will be helpful throughout the search process, especially as we interview candidates later in the process. Your comments will be recorded and posted on YouTube and linked to our website, where applicants, nominees, and other interested parties can access these comments. As well, we encourage all of you to visit the UL System website for information and the latest updates about the presidential search process. And for those of you who would like to submit a written comment to the search committee, you will find an email link to do so. You can do so anonymously. It is quite helpful if you do so with a contact information, so that if there is a misunderstanding or if there's clarification or amplification needed, we can receive that. But again, that's your choice. If you prefer to be anonymous, that's fine. For those of you who'd like to provide verbal comments today, we'll enter that process now, and I'm going to ask Dr. Khan to facilitate this portion of the meeting.
Yes, sir. We would like interested individuals to stand when called and walk to one of the two microphones in the room to share their thoughts with the search committee about important qualifications and or priorities for the next president of Southeastern. We have a very simple process that we will use to engage this afternoon's audience. The purpose is to learn more about your thoughts concerning important qualifications and priorities for the next president. Individuals who wish to address the committee should complete a public comment card. I think Cammie has been walking them around, or you should have grabbed one at the door outside on the table. And please hand that to one of us that will be walking around, and we'll collect those. Staff will, like I said, as Cammie's walking around, she'll help you gather those. One at a time, and we'll call upon interested speakers to come forward. Speakers will have 2 minutes to express their views. Within 30 seconds of remaining, I will hold up a yellow card, not being rude, but just to allow everybody the opportunity to engage with the search committee, and that'll signify that your time is drawing to a close. When I hold up a red card, that means that your time is closed, and please conclude your comments as quickly as possible. Only those who have completed cards will be asked to come forward. And as of now, and as we circulate around the room, I do have 4, so we'll go ahead and begin. Dwayne Sherman. And Dwayne is a member of the faculty here at Southeastern.
As Dane.
Oh, I'm sorry. Again, visually challenged.
That's all right. Welcome, sir.
Thanks, Dr. Henderson. I appreciate it. I'm so surprised that all of you came, and I'm impressed. Thank you. You came from long distances, and I'm just shocked that the last time I saw a panel this big was when they were kicking me out of high school. So having said that, I've got my 2 minutes. I've got a prepared speech, and I love Southeastern. There's virtually nothing good in my life that hasn't happened because of Southeastern. I have been here at Southeastern since Moby Dick was a sardine. Tonight, our son will go to the Scholars Showcase. He has 24 undergraduate hours in high school, just one example, and this is his first choice. And what decision is made here will influence his choice, because he can go to a lot of other universities, not just this one. I think the 2 biggest challenges as you're facing what happens to Southeastern and the next leader, enrollment and funding, the 2 biggest issues. Dr. Crane and all of us could be criticized for a number of things, but as president, one thing he did was leave a really strong bench in sporting terms. Very gifted leaders on campus. I bet there are a dozen leaders on campus right now who could be interim president. And I'll say something else about Dr. Crane. He never screamed at me. And that is just amazing, because I have been screamed at from every boss and teacher and principal since 7th grade, and that is true, except my new boss, but he's only been there a couple months. I'm going to say this name, even though Jim just told me I wasn't supposed to, but I'm going to do it because I'm Dane. 100% confidence in Dr. Eric Summers, Vice President for Student Affairs at our Southeastern. Threw it out there. You can do what you want with it. There are other fine leaders in Louisiana, in the state, in the United States, all over the globe that could be great leaders for this campus, and I hope we get the best. I do have 3 nightmare scenarios, however. The first one is somebody gets hired because their last name. I'm not saying it ever happened before. I'm just saying don't do it. The second is hiring a Louisiana legislator as president, because there are a lot of them, somewhere between a dozen and 100 of them, that don't like me. This has been documented in numerous lawsuits and newspaper articles, even recently. The third nightmare scenario is that we get, say, a political appointee from the Board of Regrets, the Regents. That's not a good thing, because we're going to have a new governor. His name is going to be Jeff Landry, and he's going to come in January, and he's going to clean some houses. And I don't want to see Southeastern in any way a dumping ground for people who are going to be fired from various posts. And I'll just be real honest. I had a job here. I've been here a very long time. I had a job here when I started my speech. Hopefully I'll have one when I go teach my class in a few more minutes. I thank you for listening, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Khan, this might be a good time to remind people that we will have a UL System Freedom of Expression Summit at the end of March. And you're all welcome to attend.
Would that be a good example or a bad example?
It's always a wonderful example.
Perfect example. And thank you very much for being here this afternoon. If I can have Peter Emerson, who is a member of the faculty and staff here. Mr. Emerson?
I don't know if I've been here since Moby Dick was a sardine, but 1987 was my first year as a faculty member here, and I've been director of the Counseling Center for about the last 7 years. My major concern, of course, is now with the Counseling Center, and probably all of you are familiar with what I'm going to say, but we have seen a drastic change in the mental health of the students that we're having come to Southeastern, as I'm sure all of you are. The number of students in crisis, the number of students that have low coping skills has just increased dramatically. Our staff at the Counseling Center is one of the largest in the state, and we're still overwhelmed by the number of students that we serve each semester. And I think one of the things that I'm concerned most about is to make sure that the candidate that you select understands the mental health needs of the students that are coming to our institutions. We need to develop new services. We had the first under our Board of Regents, we have, I believe, the first CRP program, Collegiate Recovery Program, and that is meeting the needs of a lot of our students that are in recovery. We have an ever-increasing number of students that are in recovery, that we're working with, that have substance use issues, and that's another population that has increased dramatically over the last few years. The nature of the substances that they're using, of course, is changing, ever changing, and so we need somebody that is current, knows these mental health needs, these substance use needs of our students. We do have excellent candidates here on campus. I'm sure that you're going to identify some others. We're not supposed to mention names, but I'll also throw in Dr. Summers' name. I have had the wonderful opportunity of being the director of the Counseling Center, mostly under his supervision as our vice president, and he has done a fantastic job in supporting the mental health of the students on this campus, as has Dr. Crane. And I want to see somebody who is as strong as Dr. Crane has been in advocating for and protecting our students and their mental health on this campus. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And as a point of personal privilege, I applaud this institution for the work you all are doing in the area of mental health, and you are actually one of the champions out of the 9 institutions, so thank you very much for what you do. Michael Beckner is the next person that has a comment card, who is a member of staff here at Southeastern. I like the way you roll.
My name's Mike Beckner. I'm the chief of police here. I have a different perspective. I've been here about 2.5 years, and I actually came from the University of Alaska Anchorage before here. The one thing I see at this university that we need in the president is community engagement. When you come through Hammond, the north part of Hammond, all of a sudden you pop up and there's the university. When I came here in 19 from our first interview, all I was told about is the stadium is packed, there's always something going on campus. I have not seen that yet in the 2.5 years I've been here. We need to see the town be involved in our university also. So we need a president that can engage with our community to bring people to our campus, and that'll solve your first problem of enrollment. When you get people that want to come here, their kids are going to come here, and we're going to get people from the region. I think we're right up against the state of Mississippi, where we have Southwest Community College, Pearl River Community College. We should have some agreements with them bringing students to our campus. So we need somebody who can reach out to the community, bring people to our campus. And I agree with Dr. Emerson on mental health. That is one of the biggest things that we have going in our campus. Our mental health calls went up almost 500% last year for the police department. Our crime went down 14%, but our mental health went up 500%. So we need a president that's going to get out and engage our students, encourage staff and faculty to get out and engage our students and have stuff going on If you drive through Southeastern on the weekends, it's like an empty city. The more we have going on with our students, the less crime we have, and the less mental health problems we have. So that's all I ask is y'all do due diligence and get us somebody that'll do a great job for Southeastern. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you very much. And a man of your words. I didn't have to pull a card. We have 3 more public comment cards. Again, if you'd like to fill one out, there are 2 ladies in the back in the green shirts that can bring one to you. Emily Anthony, who's a member of staff. Miss Anthony, would you please come on up to the microphone?
I thought I was going to have more time. I'm Emily Anthony. I am the Director of Military and Veteran Success here on campus. I have only been here for about a month and a half, so I am brand new to the university. So my perspective is very different because it's very new. I haven't been seasoned here. I actually graduated from LSU. And I am also a first lieutenant in the Louisiana National Guard, and I'm the commander of the 1021st out of Covington. So, yes, thank you. So I just wanted to mention a couple of things that are big priorities for me. Something that I think is really important is I challenge y'all to find out how the new president is going to support our veteran and military community. I think it's very easy to say that you support veterans, but I'd like for y'all to find out what they're going to do. We're very uniquely positioned here at Southeastern because of hurricanes. Excuse me, I'm nervous. I'm sorry. So we have a very large population of National Guard soldiers in this area. So my unit owns Tangipahoa and St. Tammany Parish. Our battalion stretches to Franklinton, to Marrero. We're everywhere. And we're engineers, so we're the ones who get called on to clean up after the storms come through. Our soldiers join because they want to get their college education, and that's why they want to come to Southeastern. It has a wonderful reputation, but we need to support them when they're called upon to serve the state. And so I'd like to know what the president is planning to support veterans to have that emergency response plan, knowing that there are hundreds of National Guard soldiers on the campus. My suggestion would be for us to transform our education programs to have more online options. I think that it would make a huge difference for our soldiers to be able to continue going to class even when they can't physically report. And I think that that would also improve our enrollment as well, to have more hybrid options so that we can adapt to the 21st century learner and let them choose. A lot of students do not want to physically come to campus anymore. They want to have that option, and I think that that will help tremendously. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Larshell Rhodes, I hope I pronounced that correctly, alumnus and staff here at Southeastern.
Hey everybody, good afternoon. I'm Larshell Rhodes. Thank you for pronouncing my name correctly, by the way. I serve as coordinator of multicultural and international student affairs, and I'm also a 2-time alumni of Southeastern. And in this role, I work with people of color, particularly international students a lot. So my main priorities are hearing how our new president is going to directly address concerns of diversity. And to speak bluntly and blatantly, not checking off boxes, not coming to certain events per year-round, day in and day out work to address food insecurity, transportation, homelessness, poverty, all the issues that we see with these particular groups of students.
Thank you. William Taquel, who is a member of staff, and if I butchered your name, I apologize.
It's totally okay. But yeah, William Takewell. I'm actually a 2012 graduate of Southeastern as well. And I've been fortunate enough to be back here for the past 8 months as our interim assistant director for Fraternity and Story Life. And also just a shout out to our vice president of student affairs, Dr. Summers, for convincing me to come home and work at the place that really truthfully made me the professional that I am. I've worked at 4 previous institutions prior to coming back to Southeastern, and so I've gotten to see a lot of different college presidents and a lot of different college environments. And one of the things that I always go back to is how special of a place Southeastern is, and how special of a place it is for our students who come here. And I think for me, I hope that we will have a president who will do 3 really important things, and I hope that the candidates that we bring to campus to talk to and engage with will do 3 really important things. One, and that's putting student voices first, right? And truly listening to our students as they are asking for things. Sometimes, some things are more valid than others. As someone who works in student affairs, I can say that, and I feel really confident in that. But getting to know our students and really being there with them and engaging with them. Second, I think, one of the things that Dr. Crane had mentioned in our Get There program is that Southeastern is one of those best kept secrets. Why, right? How are we going to put forth the effort to make sure that Southeastern is known in the Gulf South region as a premier institution for learning and for excellence, not only for students, but for staff and faculty as well. And then finally, I hope that we will seek out candidates who truly are going to put at the forefront what my colleague was saying, Larshel, that diversity, equity, and inclusion is something that we need to really have infused into our programs here. We need to make that at the forefront of our institution and really showcase that commitment to the students that we're recruiting to be here, that we actually are going to support them once they are here. So thank you all so much for the work you're going to do.
We appreciate the commentary. Thank you. Gabe Willis, who's a staff member here at Southeastern.
So I've been told I do better when I write things down. I'm also not
Jay, pull that mic down a little
okay,
bit.
I was going to try to get away with it. Oh, I'll just do this. I'll do this. I'm also a staff member, so I won't go as hard as Dane did because that luxury. So I've been here for about 8 years. I serve as a dean of students, deputy Title IX. So we're looking, hopefully we can identify a president who, does a few things. I have 3 written down. And I call them low-hanging fruit. I think it's something, y'all are going to ask every president, what's your 90-day plan? I think this is low-hanging fruit that somebody can come in and kind of attack quickly. Silos. Silos across campus. I think Southeastern prides itself on being a family. We talk about that. Every search committee you're on will hear, we're a family, but that's in pockets. So I think we should definitely focus on silos, attacking them quickly. Become an institution that's open to critique and criticism. I think oftentimes we're a place who likes to kind of clam up when things kind of get pointed at your way. I think we should be open to somebody saying, you can do this better, you can do this wrong, and here's how we can do it. I think we can agree, disagree, and move on. I think there's a book called The Fearless Organization that I read, and it's really good about taking criticism and moving on. I think if you break silos, you become open to criticism, you can do better. Engage our best consultants on campus, our students, right? I'm the dean of students. Everybody knows I love students. I think if you talk to them, you engage them, we're taking a lot of their tuition dollars. So you have to be able to listen and take their word and kind of give them some of the things they want. So break silos, become open to criticism, and engage students. Thank you.
For our board members, you might remember Gabe is a graduate of the UL Systems Management Leadership Institute, cohort, Gabe 2?
Cohort 3.
Cohort 3.
The best cohort, yeah.
I forgot to ask the best one. Yeah. How could I forget?
Okay, and next we're going to have an individual who's on faculty, an alumnus of the institution, and a member of Faculty Senate, Chris Genre. Yeah. I'm Janine. Most people call me Jeannie, so I understand.
All right, I really hadn't planned on standing up here, but I hadn't heard anybody else say it. So what I'm interested in is the size of the candidates' lungs. How loud are they going to be advocating Southeastern? And most importantly, faculty pay, faculty pay, faculty pay. I cannot say this enough. And he needs to be screaming it in every hall of the legislature, in every office. Because frankly, some of the pay that we receive as instructors is horrendous. 22 years. I have been teaching here for 22 years. I just cracked $41,000 a year. Starting pay for high school teachers is more than this. Faculty pay. One other thing I would like to ask if any candidates would please appear before Faculty Senate. I'd like to see any of our candidates come to Faculty Senate. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I have my very last comment card. Are there any additional individuals that wish to share their thoughts? Please signal the young ladies in the back of the room and fill out one of the cards. And the last, maybe, not least, William Robeson, who is a member of the faculty member here at Southeastern.
Starting with Dane, ending with me. What a day, huh? One of the things I want to suggest is that in looking for a new president, you look for somebody that has a lot of the same qualities as Dr. Crane. I don't mean a thin workaholic bachelor, although if it turns out that way, that's all right. What I mean is somebody who is a good custodian of our budget, for one thing. We have been through some tough times, and we haven't gone broke. We haven't shut the doors. The other thing is that he was an experienced teacher, a well-published scholar, an experienced administrator. He had done a little bit of all of it, and that's a great thing. I also think that whoever takes over as the head of this university is going to have to face some fairly severe challenges. We're looking at a shrinking enrollment no matter what we do about it. The demographic cliff is coming. LSU has lowered its admission standards, and all of us in this system are going to have to cope with that. To some extent, we're going to have to get leaner and meaner. We're going to have to recruit the very best students we can get and crank out the very best graduates we can get using the best faculty we can get. That's going to be really important. One other thing, we already have a reputation for a good nursing program. We have good STEM programs here. We also have a well-known business program. But we've also got a really fine education program and really good programs in the arts, humanities, and social sciences that frequently don't get noticed very much. And if you don't think that education is important, and if you don't think that the arts, humanities, and social sciences, things like history, political science, sociology, and whatever are important, just read the news one day, and that will cure you of that delusion. At any rate, we need somebody who is going to pay attention to all of those things to make this a holistic university and a university with a realistic mission to a realistic number of people. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And again, as Dr. Henderson mentioned, there are other avenues for you to share your comments or concerns through the website and other venues, not just today. But thank you for those that took the time to come to the microphone. Dr. Henderson, that concludes this portion of the meeting.
Thank you, Dr. Khan. And for members of the community, there's no way around one of the realities, and that's that change can cause angst. And when you have a presidential transition at a university, it is always an angst-filled process. That's natural. Some of you may not view it as angst right now. You may view it as excitement and an opportunity, and that's great. Most of you will go through cycles between those two emotions as we go. Know that there are avenues to express that. And when I tell you that they're welcome, they're received, they're appreciated, it comes with great sincerity. There's multiple ways that you can provide that, and we encourage you to do so. I just want to thank you for attending today. That's a first step. It means a lot. Community members, alumni, faculty, staff, students, you all have other priorities. You have other obligations, and your presence today means it speaks volumes, and you've represented your university admirably. Is there any other business to come before the committee? Hearing none. Committee members, we realize your time is valuable. There are many other activities you could have been doing today, but you chose to share your time with us, and to the committee members, you shared your thoughts with us because you care about the future of Southeastern, and you understand the connectivity between the campus and this region of the state, which, by the way, offers a lot of opportunities for growth. I think there is a demographic cliff, but you have one of the fastest growing regions in the state of Louisiana, and I think there's some opportunities there we'll discuss as we go forward in the process. As was the case with other presidential searches this board has conducted, we gained some valuable insights today, some passionate insights, even from Dane. And by the way, I feel comfortable picking with Dane. Dane and I are close Twitter friends. We share a love for the same kind of music, and that should tell you a lot. That gives you some qualms about this process. But those personalities on each of these campuses are immensely valuable. They speak to the soul of these institutions. This information will be used to shape future discussions. It will be shared with candidates who want the opportunity to come and be a part of this excellent campus and this vibrant community. We look forward to continued dialogue with you and others and selecting a great president for this great institution. With that, we'll need a motion and a second to adjourn. Do we have a motion? Moved by Mr. Stevens, a second. By Ms. Stokes. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you very much. Throw some red.